And you guys don't care. You don't care.
You don't want the 2011
people to see.
consent decree?
You don't want the American people to see what happened, the full video, transparency. You don't want that, and you don't want two journalists who have been named personally by the Biden administration, FTC, in a letter.
The Biden administration.
And you're saying they're here to help us. They're here to tell their story. And frankly, I think they're brave individuals for being willing to come after they've been named in a letter from the Biden FTC.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not exaggerating when I say that you have called before you two witnesses who pose a direct threat to people who oppose them. It's funny when people have to go through that. Exactly. This is unacceptable. I'm ready for it. I don't know if a lot of other people are, but just as it was unacceptable for Kevin McCarthy to provide 41,000 hours of sensitive security footage to a biased talking head in an effort to rewrite what happened on January 6th. This is a new Republican playbook, apparently. Risk American safety and security to score political points.
The gentlelady's words should be struck. We do not accuse witnesses of threatening others. That is out of line and outside the rules of this committee.
That, and I can have an opinion.
You don't get to determine what's struck down.
Well, you do get an opening statement, and it's about over.
The committee will suspend.
We know this is because at the first hearing, the chairman claimed that big government and big tech colluded to shape and mold the narrative and suppress information and censor Americans. This is a false narrative. We're engaging in false narratives here, and we are going to tell the truth. I yield back.
Gentlelady yields back. I would just point out the consent decree was in our report. We offered your staff also the opportunity to review the FTC letters. You have not come over to review those letters. Third, the idea that I believe both of these individuals who are getting ready to testify, I believe they're both Democrats. The idea that two journalists who happen to be Democrats—
Did you not give that offer at 8 o'clock last night?
I'm talking now. Your time was ended a few seconds ago.
Neither of us are in time.
I don't think they're here to help us politically. I think they're here to tell us the truth. And oh, by the way, the first FTC letter to Twitter after the first set of Twitter files, the very first question was, who are the journalists you're talking to?
Today, we're diving into one of the most explosive congressional hearings in recent memory. The one that featured journalists Matt Taibbi and Michael Shellenberger, who were called to testify about the Twitter files and government influence on social media. Things got heated, accusations were flying, rules were being broken, and the political divide was on full display. Let's break down the 10 most jaw-dropping moments from this hearing, and trust me, you're going to want to stick around for number 10.
And you guys don't care. You don't care.
You don't want the 2011
people to see.
consent decree?
You don't want the American people to see what happened, the full video, transparency. You don't want that, and you don't want two journalists who have been named personally by the Biden administration, FTC, in a letter.
The Biden administration.
And you're saying they're here to help us. They're here to tell their story. And frankly, I think they're brave individuals for being willing to come after they've been named in a letter from the Biden FTC.
Is this your question time now?
No, I'm responding to your ridiculous statements you made in your opening statement.
Okay, well, let's get on with it.
Oh, now we want to get on with it. So you can say all the things you want, and I
did in my opening statement, as well as you had an opening statement. You said what you needed to say in your opening statement, and I, as the ranking member, have used my time.
Without objection, all other opening statements will be included in the record. We will introduce today's witness, Matt Taibbi. He's a journalist and author. He's one of the authors of the Twitter files, previously worked for Rolling Stone, that right-wing publication, Rolling Stone, where so many Republicans work at. He's also written several books about American politics and culture. And of course, as I pointed out, as the Wall Street Journal pointed out yesterday on the front page, was named by the FTC.
Mr. Chairman, may I make a comment? Yes. I would like to do my job, and I try not to get out of my job at every opportunity. So given the fact that we have convened former governor of California and Senator Whitehouse here, we're here to talk about the very pressing issue of cutting our carbon emissions and saving our planet, and we have an entire political party that is trying to get out of their job, adjourn this hearing, and I just want to know what the reason for such a disrespect of our process would potentially be. Do we have a reason for why this hearing is trying to be adjourned, or do we have
I
just
have
like
one.
a cocktail party? to go
Yes.
to?
I have one. I have a really easy one. The oil industry is the second largest industry in my state. My constituents expect me to be here. We are running an impeachment hearing down in the basement of the
Wait, so
Capitol
is this
right
about
now.
the oil
No,
industry
no,
or
no. It's about
the
the economy of the
impeachment
state of North Dakota and my constituents.
And
The
North
reason-
Dakota.
the re-
This isn't
I
even
want
about
to
California.
participate in this hearing, but I feel the need to be in the SCIF because we're only one of 3 committees that's allowed to be in the room. I can do a lot of things. I can't be 2 places at once. I'm completely comfortable having this hearing. I'd just prefer to have it at a time when I could participate in it.
This was a conversation that was brought up, and this could not have been brought up before we convened the senator and the governor. We're doing this when they're here.
We've expressed this last week about having
Professionalism?
2 things going on at the same time. It's not like we haven't talked about this, but you guys continue to do hearings at the same time there are depositions going on. As the gentleman from North Dakota said, we can't be 2 places at once. You talk about wanting to do your job? There's no way to do that when you have to be 2 places at once.
And just to be clear, there was
Witnesses under fire. Right from the start, the hearing took a sharp turn. Tybee and Schellenberger were painted by some committee members as actual threats to those who oppose them. Not just controversial voices, but dangerous ones. That's a bold and inflammatory charge, especially against journalists simply reporting on documents released by Twitter itself. Accusations of threats. Things got even more chaotic when a member accused the journalists of endangering others. That claim was immediately met with outrage. Others on the committee said this kind of accusation was completely out of line and violated congressional rules. The tension? Palpable. January 6th. Footage sparks controversy. Next came the debate over the release of 41,000 hours of January 6 security footage. Kevin McCarthy was slammed for giving it to what was described as a partisan talking head, with critics arguing this could endanger national security, all for political gain. The line between transparency and propaganda was center stage, false narratives versus the truth. Democrats on the committee hit back hard, accusing Republicans of spreading false narratives, especially about censorship and collusion. They promised to tell the truth, while Republicans insisted the real truth was being buried. Transparency or obstruction? One of the more intense back and forths was over transparency. Republicans claimed Democrats didn't even bother reviewing key FTC letters and were actively blocking the public from seeing all the evidence. It wasn't just political theater, it was a full-on battle over who controls the narrative. The FTC letter bombshell. Now here's where it gets wild. After the first batch of Twitter files dropped, the FTC sent a letter to Twitter asking who the journalists were that got access. Yes, the government asking who was reporting on them. Republicans say that's intimidation. Plain and simple. Quick pause. If you're finding this breakdown helpful and want more real talk on what's really happening in politics and media, hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and tap the bell so you don't miss future videos like this one. Let's keep this conversation going. Political affiliations weaponized. Here's an interesting twist. Both Tybee and Schellenberger are Democrats. That's what the Republicans pointed out to argue. Hey, these guys aren't partisan hacks. They're here to speak the truth. Whether you buy that or not, it was used as a key defense against accusations of political motivation. Procedural chaos. The hearing wasn't just tense, it was messy. Interruptions, objections, members talking over each other. It felt more like a courtroom drama than a government hearing. Fairness and proper procedure went out the window as both sides accused each other of playing dirty. Meet the journalists. Eventually, the witnesses were officially introduced. Matt Taibbi, former Rolling Stone journalist, known for his deep dives into American politics. Michael Schellenberger, author, environmentalist, and co-founder of multiple nonprofits. Whatever your politics, these two have solid credentials. And they weren't shy about speaking out against government censorship and media manipulation. The overall tone. Last but not least, the entire vibe of this hearing was hostile. This wasn't just about social media. This was about control of information, accountability, and the growing distrust between the press, the government, and the public. This hearing wasn't just another day in Congress. It exposed how divided we've become, not just politically, but on the question of truth itself. What do you think? Were Taibbi and Schellenberger heroes of free speech or pawns in a political game? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, because this story is far from over. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Share this with someone who needs to know what really happened.